to yawn before we begin.
Now you've made me yawn, so that's how the episode will start.
Welcome to edition 124 of All Killa No Filla podcast with me, Rachel Fairburn, and Kiri Pritchard-McLean. Just before we start, we'll do our usual disclaimer. This isn't hero worship. We do this podcast because we have mutual interest in serial killers. As long as we are doing this podcast, it stops us from writing to them in prison.
Yes, it does. In fact, I should have asked our producer Owen, when roughly would this podcast go out? Okay, great. In that case, we should announce here that we have, for the first time in all the time we've been doing All Killa, we finally made a dream come true in that we're doing a Valentine's show, which I can't wait to do.
Next February in Leeds.
Yes, on the 10th of Feb at the City Varieties, which is one of our favourite venues.
We like it in there. It's very nice.
Yes.
So that'll be on sale now, I imagine. Yes, that'll be on sale. It's on sale. Go and get your tickets.
Yeah, I think it is. Yeah. We don't know when this comes out, but yeah, it comes out.
Christmas is probably sold out by now, but there might be a smattering of tickets left for crew.
Yes. Why do I find it funny every time we say we're going to crew?
Because it's bizarre, isn't it?
It is very weird.
And it's been harder to find a venue somewhere different because nobody wants these two sweary women over our panto set.
Like we're going to
swear near the panto set.
Like we're going to rub ourselves on it, like a stray cat that comes in and rubs its glands on everything.
Oh, glands. And also, I'm on tour next year. RachelFairburn.com. Go and buy some tickets if you wish. Thank you.
You never stop touring. It's unbelievable.
Well, I do, but I put it on sale early. So I would have had a year off this year had we not gone to Australia, and I rearranged a couple of things. But it's next. Yeah, it's not till next October.
Yeah, but you still have been doing tour shit. Like, I think you tour every year, at least once, sometimes twice. It's incredible.
Listen, I put a fucking shift in. And does anyone appreciate it? Not really. Why are you not coming to... Because nobody wants to come see me there. Get on a train.
Go on, list all the towns now.
Well, I'll tell you where I'm never going to, and I've said this before. Can kiss my ass. The twice I've gigged the absolute appalling welcome that I've had there from audiences. Kiss my ass. I'm never coming to the end.
There's a gig there, doesn't he? In the that I did years ago.
Yeah, two, and it was the two gigs there where the audience were some of the most awful people I've ever encountered in my life, and it was quite early on in my career, and the way that I was spoken to by them, kiss my fucking ass. Seriously, I don't even think you fucking are. You never forget things like that.
We are going to be talking about a case that we did at the live show, but we thought it was so good we wanted to record it as an episode.
Yep.
So not strictly a serial killer.
No, it's not. It's a murder. It's a murder. This is Julia Martha Thomas. This is the known as the Barnes mystery or the Richmond murder. And it was one of the most notorious crime cases of the Victorian era. But I think they say that about everything.
I think they say that. And also has been nicknamed, moving forward, the female Sweeney Todd. I don't know why I have to put female in these things.
Well, it's nice to, like women's football, women's murders. It's nice to get a bit of...
women's books.
Women's books. It's nice to sort of forge our own. Female authors. Female comedians. I'm sure there was something I was meant to tell you, and I can't remember. Anyway, we'll get to it.
We usually chat about it, don't we, on the Remind Me to Tell You. In fact, I do have a list of Remind Me to Tell Yous. Remind me. I just have to... oh my gosh. Can I just read out a selection of your...
Go on.
Remind me to tell you about the world of hell I'm currently in. You did tell me about that. Remind me to tell you about the Travelodge one night, no questions asked.
Ah, right, yeah.
I've got another one. Remind me to tell you about almost strangling to death in a TransPennine Express toilet.
Right. I have to tell you this because this was one of those things where I knew there was something, and I can't believe that I blocked it out of my mind because it was such a terrifying incident. I was on a TransPennine Express train going to Manchester from Sheffield, I imagine, wherever the fuck I was. And I went for a wee, and you know that the toilets are very small, aren't they? You know, little tiny cabin things. And I don't know why I did this. I put my bag on my head, on my forehead.
What?
Like, I put it over my head and put the strap on my forehead because I didn't want to put it on the floor. There was nothing to hang it on because there was piss on the floor, isn't there?
Yeah.
So I went like this, and I put it there. And as I turned to do, I don't know what, it went round my neck. But then as it went round my neck, I sort of turned and it twisted, and I don't know how the fuck it did this. It made like a small tourniquet type thing. And I was like, in my head I'm going, I cannot die in a TransPennine Express. Because basically what will happen is they'll think I've been doing a Michael Hutchins and I've fucking strangle wanked myself. And I was like, and you know, you're like, hot panic. It must have lasted about 4 seconds. But you know, when time slows down, I'm like, I'm going to die in this toilet. This is not how this is meant to be. You know, like, but and I don't know how I did it. I don't know why I did that. Put it over my head like that. And I moved and it went like that over my shoulder. I was like, oh my God. And then obviously I managed very quickly to, I was just like, I can't, this is not how I want to go.
That is so, what an undignified way
Completely.
to die and place to die. I won't even use, it's, if I use a toilet on a train, it means I'm about to like soil myself. I just don't do it. And I'm not do you know what it is I can't, and I'm not like, oh, I get like, there's germs everywhere. My toilet home's probably filthy with the amount of people who come and use it. But the smell when I walk past the toilet, it makes me feel, it's making me get thin spit now. It makes me feel sick. So being inside it, it's horrible.
It's the last resort. And especially on like TransPennine Express. I have to admit, Avanti West Coast, a little bit better. LNER, a joy to travel on occasion when they're on time. They are a nice train. They are a lovely train. But I just thought, I can't go like this. This is terrible. And it was just that shock. And then, but for about a minute afterwards, I was thinking, I've not travelled enough. What do I need to do in life? You know that you know, you have those.
What flashed into your head? Were you like, I've got to wank off more knobs?
Well, to be honest, I was kind of thinking, it was quite interesting because I thought, well, I've actually done quite a lot and I'm quite pleased with myself. I was like, but what really do I want to do? I was like, and then I was like, I couldn't think of anything that, you know, that I was, and then I sort of, the panic subsided and I was like, right, business as usual. Let's get annoyed at something. So it was a shocking experience, and I don't know how it happened. Like, just put the bag over my head, moved back like that. I thought, and then I was,
You're so sort of put together and intelligent that just the thought of you, I find it so bizarre that you would use your own forehead as a coat hook for a start. That is a moment of madness, to quote the.
Well, it's because I didn't want to put it on the floor because it was pissy.
No, I understand that, but you've got a lap.
Yeah, but I needed to take my trousers down, didn't have to have a wee. The whole thing, I don't know why I did it. It's
you
one
could
of those
keep
things
it on your shoulder. Like, there's a million ways of doing it.
I know this now. But it's one of those times where you just think, you know, when you do something, you think, why the fuck did I just do that?
Yeah.
Like,
it was an unbelievable, it sounds like the start of something from Final Destination.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking. Although if it was TransPennine Express, the Final Destination would be delayed. Am I right, guys? Ooh. Anyway.
Did you want to tell the other Remind Me story? About a travel lodge?
Yeah, so this was something that came up again recently. There's a friend reminded me of it. Someone I used to work with, this guy, I stopped working with him. Nice enough lad. And then we stopped working together. And then out of the blue, I got a text message from him years ago that said, "You're my biggest regret."
What?
I mean, if you were in a relationship with somebody, that would be a terrible thing for somebody to say to you, wouldn't it? You are my... But just out of... I was like... Also, not interested in this man in the slightest. I was like, what the fuck's this guy doing? Also, this wasn't like at 10 at night or 1 in the morning. This was like 7:30 p.m, you know. So I'm like, what's this guy on about? And then about half an hour later, he wrote, "One night, me and you, travel lodge, no questions asked." First of all, travel lodge, right? I might be a working class person and you know, I might be down to earth, but a travel lodge. I don't fucking think so, mate. And then me and my friend Sam couldn't stop laughing about this because he was like, no questions asked. What, you can't even ask a question? Like, what room number is it? I said no questions. Like, do you want a cup of tea? What have I told you? No questions. So, but it sort of it came back to me a few weeks ago because I was just like, what a weird thing to do to somebody. Like, also, what am I meant to be fucking grateful that you? I don't know, for some reason have decided that you'd like a bit of it. No thanks, mate.
It's an incredible confidence to put that out into the world and assume
at 7:30.
At 7:30 p.m, Coronation Street.
Yeah.
And assuming that is the bait that you need to nibble on is a £74 Travelodge on Ancoats. I can't imagine a scenario. I can't even imagine someone I'd had a thing with. And, you know, where you sort of like, there's some people that you're like, oh, I quite like that ex. And, you know, I'm always keen to see what they're doing. And like, oh, I'm happy they're happy. And, oh, that, you know, I think fondly of them. I'd never put the old Travelodge ultimatum out there. Anyway, how was the sex?
As if. Also, I was with someone at the time and I'm thinking, who do you fucking think you are? Like, sorry, it's like you may as well have booted my front door in and gone, do you want to suck this? I don't know these fucking people think they are. It blows my mind. I just...
Do you want to suck this?
Yeah, but I will be thinking about this forever. Like, and it sort of entered my head after a long time. I was like, I've completely forgotten about that. What a weird thing to do. What a weird thing for an adult man to do.
What an absolutely believable thing for an adult man in a long-term relationship to do. There is no way he is single. I will bet my fucking tit that he has a wife and at least one children.
I think he's married now. I think he's married now. I don't think he was at the time. I
fucking bet that he had a long-term partner. I would bet anything.
I mean, I think, yeah, maybe there was, but as I said, I'd not seen him for bloody years. But also, he was one of those people that when I worked with him, he kind of used to look down on me because he had a regional accent.
What?
Do you know yeah, he was one of those, it's like, oh, sorry, am I your kink now because you think I'm thick? I mean, I encounter a lot of people in my life who because I sound like this, they assume that you're stupid or whatever.
Me?
Anyway, the Barnes mystery.
Yes, sorry, the female Sweeney Todd.
Yeah, Julia Martha Thomas is the victim. Mm-hmm. She was born in 1823. She was a former school teacher who was twice widowed. Ooh, sir, good going.
It is, but I don't think weirdly, that would normally be the description of the person who ended up being the killer. But I also think it was maybe not that unusual to have multiple husbands at that time, or wives.
Her second husband died in 1873 and she was living alone at 2 Mayfield cottages in Richmond, London, a lovely area.
Yeah, and garden front and back, she's doing all right.
Yeah, it was a 2-storey house, semi-detached with a garden front and back, as you say. Yes, please. The area wasn't highly populated at the time and the house was close to a pub called the Hole in the Wall.
It was like, from what I can make out, it was right next to it. So... She was kind of like, there was a worry that when she had, her husband had passed away, you can't even find out what the husband's names are. There's no like records of it.
Good, fine, for once. We don't have to listen about the fellas.
Do you think that the husband was, as he was dying, was messaging some woman that he used to work with, sending a telegram going, you and me, the hole in the wall. How about it?
I'll pick you up in a stagecoach. No questions asked.
Yeah, they were worried about her, but she was really active in the church. She had a big social circle and she used to go into the pub. She wasn't a big drinker, but she had lots of friends there. And so she'd sort of, they'd check in and they'd make sure that she was all right. Basically, she wasn't a sort of lonely old woman. For a start, she's not old, but everyone will talk about her like they're old. Like she's old in this for some reason, even though she's like 53 or something.
Yeah, although I suppose back in the day... You are a mature person at that age, aren't you? It's not like being 50-odd now.
Yeah,
it's like, I guess at that age, you know, you're probably going to die at 60-odd.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah, maybe.
I don't know. Oh, my stomach just rumbled then. I'm ever so sorry.
Oh, yeah, I heard that.
I am Darwin.
But it was quite, this is quite a weird thing to say, quite a sexy, like, rumble. It was like, it was like, it wasn't a, like, hunger rumble. It was like a wink on the end of it.
One night, travel lodge, no questions asked.
Do you know what I think was so funny about that as well? Is a travel lodge is like, yeah, that's right, travel lodge, midday checkout, so you can get bummed right up until the start of another day.
It's like, no, thank you. I mean, it still blows my mind now that someone would do that. And as I say, it was like 7:30, and I remember I was standing with my boyfriend at the time, and I was reading it, and I was like, and he said to me, "Oh, what, are you all right?" I was like, "Yeah, fine." It's like, obviously I'm not going to tell him because it's obnoxious, isn't it?
I would find that so funny. That would be the first thing I'd tell my partner.
No, it just couldn't be bothered. I was like, well, this is weird. I mean, of course, first stop was my friend Sam, like, yeah, have you seen this? Let's have a laugh about this. But, oh, God, one night, no travel. I will never get over the fact that it was Travel Lodge. Yeah,
it's the worst chain. It's the worst chain.
It's the last resort. It used to be really good, but it is now the last resort. It depends which one you get, actually. But
there's one on a motorway that is absolutely disgusting. And the guy who let us in was, like, filthy as well.
Oh,
like
was this
a filthy
the one who asked
guy.
if you're in a band?
Yeah, he was filthy.
Yeah.
And honestly, it makes me feel sick because I think about the crumbs on his... Yeah, anyway.
I left the one in Newport. When I was on tour a couple of years ago, I was staying at the one in Newport and I was like, this is disgusting. I'm just going to get the coach home.
Wow.
It was, honestly, not only was it disgusting, I was like, I don't feel okay in here. I think something's going to happen.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, when you're like, okay, there's almost definitely a camera in the toilet here.
Yeah, I was like, this is not the place for me. Anyhow, Julie was described as small and well-dressed, and at the time of the murder was around 54. She was also seen as eccentric by her neighbours due to excitable temperament. She travelled frequently and would not tell friends and family where she was for weeks and months at a time.
Fucking good for her. Good for her.
I'm like that. I hate people asking where I am. I
Show
hate...
location.
Nope. I fucking hate that. I also hate hearing my own name.
What do you mean?
If someone shouts me, I hate it. Yes. It goes through me like a fucking knife. It doesn't matter who does it.
Because you must get recognised a lot, so people must shout your name a lot. Not
really. Obviously, you've got my AirPods in anyway, but if anyone goes, Rachel, I'm like, what do you fucking want? What do you want? There's just something about it. Well, I used to live with... Remember when I used to live with that particular...
yeah.
Sniffer McDougal?
Yeah, okay, yeah.
If I heard this once a day, I heard it about 3 times. Rach. And I was like, what do you fucking want? Because she always fucking wanted something. And like you'd be doing... Rach. And it's like, it goes through me like a knife. And I remember she said to me once... She came into my bedroom for something and she was looking and she went, oh God, look at all these shoes. Oh, it's a shame they don't fit me. Why? So you could look terrible in them?
Fucking hell.
I think it comes from that, just hearing my name and thinking.
But that's also the tone of mum, is when you like,
thank
want
you,
something.
thank you. Mum. Yeah, that's exactly it. Which is why I don't know. I mean, if you're a parent, it must drive you insane hearing, Mum, Dad. Like it must. I can't bear it.
I've only
also,
just
people tapping on windows. Don't you fucking tap on a window at me. It drives me insane.
What, on like a train or something?
No, if you're outside and someone taps on the window to get your attention, I'm like, you fucking piece of shit, don't you dare.
I mean, that wouldn't... I live miles away from anyone. I genuinely can't imagine that happening.
Oh, listen.
In your house?
Like, if you're out in the yard or whatever.
Oh,
and someone's inside and they tap on the window.
Yeah.
I'm like...
I think there's something about the frequency of that noise that goes straight to your soul. It's
so annoying. We have a postman as well who is very nice, but for some fucking reason... He rings the bell and then bangs on the window. And I swear to God, he's going to get me in the wrong mood one day. and something's going to happen. Just ring the bell. Don't fucking tap on the window. Who's this ringing now? Don't tap on the window. It's too much.
Do you need to take that call?
No, I don't.
Okay, fine.
It's unknown number. Imagine if it was someone who went, one night, travel lodge. No questions asked.
I know what you mean about, but well, I find my name is just quite an irritating name to hear. And like when you, like I live with my, people just don't, it's weird, isn't it? Like when you live with your partner, oh no, Tim does call you by your name, doesn't he?
Yeah, that's fine. Obviously saying my name is totally fine, but it's just when I hear it from another room, I'm like, oh, what have I got to do now that I'm not?
I would say my partner uses my name maybe once a week, max.
Yeah. There was a thing where people were saying it gave people the ick hearing their partner's name. Do you remember that? Like, there was a whole big thing. I mean, everything now, fucking hell, I don't know what's wrong with people. It's like, I mean, I'm agitated by life, but some people, it's like everything's a problem. So there was a whole big thing recently. Have you seen this now? It's there's a big article, I think it was in Vogue or something, like, is it embarrassing to have a boyfriend?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, maybe it is, but, you know, when that person's living in your house and sharing 50% of the bills, you'd better get over the embarrassment, hadn't you? Then there's like... But on the flip side of that, do you know what I mean? It's like, can you imagine if there was an article by guys going, is it embarrassing to have a girlfriend? It's like...
I think the way some people have a girlfriend, it's deeply embarrassing, yeah.
Yeah, but it's like... But also it's like, I just think it's... You know, but then there was an article, you know, I don't like saying my partner's name. Fine. Don't fucking say it then. We don't need a piece in the eye paper about how you don't like it.
It's so difficult, isn't it? Because like it's all about turnover. So journalists, people who went into journalism, maybe wanting to be an investigative journalist and make a difference, are actually having to bang out sort of 700 words on the substitutes Ocado's given them in their delivery this week. Like it's. But
also, I'll be honest, I don't think these people have the ability either. I genuinely think that. I honestly think we are in the age of the thicko. And I think some people are like, I genuinely think some people write these articles and they think that's that's groundbreaking. I do not give these people leeway. I honestly think that's what they think. They're like, oh my God, and everything is so fucking skewed to the middle class. Mm. It's like, oh, sorry, I've got to find this fucking bullshit relatable now.
Yeah.
You know, it's just like, you know, oh my God, is having a boyfriend embarrassing?
I don't
know. Eh?
I haven't read it, but I...
Never have I, but I've got an opinion on it. Never have I, but I can get the gist.
I think I understand exactly from the headline that, of course, the person who's writing it didn't pick. I think I know exactly what it's about.
But this is like, you know, as a comedian as well, you know this. You get asked loads of times, do you want to write a think piece on this? No, thanks. I'd rather write a joke and someone come and watch me. You know, it's like, well, why? I don't understand why we just can't do the thing we're meant to do. Why comedians are we always expected to do anything other than the thing that we're meant to do? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, but you're sat there saying this on a podcast. You're an actor. You do voiceover. Like, you know, it's because you're versatile.
Yeah, but I just think as well, it's like, but what I'm saying is, it's like, let's just do those things. You don't need to know about anything from my life. Like, I'm happy to talk about things on this. Nobody needs an article about why I enjoy walking around graveyards. Who fucking cares? Do you know what I mean? Like, there's enough stuff out there for you to engage with me.
Sorry to use your name, but Rachel, there'll be people listening to this going, oh my God, I would love to read an article by Rachel talking about why she loves graveyards.
I just think it's so stupid. It's like, you want to sell tour tickets? Why have I got to write a fucking article about something that... Do you know what I mean? It's like... And also the sort of mining for you to talk about your personal life, your personal thing. Like, oh, do you want to write an article about body dysmorphia? Not really, no, because I might find that quite distressing, actually. And then what? To write an article for what? To people to fucking comment on it?
For men underneath to be like, it's not a real thing? Yeah.
Yeah, well, I remember once... I wrote an article about trichotillomania, pulling your hair out. I tried to make this light-hearted, but some cunt wrote underneath, oh, think you're special, do you? Not really. I've been forced into writing this article. It's out there now, and I'm just talking about something that might be interesting to other people. But, also, was he bald? Of course he fucking was.
That's how bad mine is.
Yeah. Anyway. Julia was lower middle class, and although not wealthy, she would dress well and use jewellery to give the impression of prosperity.
She'd also hire women as charwomen, which is staff that don't live with you, cleaners, basically, sort of like, a cleaner that doesn't come and live with you, so isn't live-in staff. She'd hire them because having staff was seen as being like an affluent thing to do, and it was all about outward appearances to her, that she was a woman of status in the community.
A snob. That's what we're dealing with here. Mm-hmm. She was a harsh employer, apparently, and she had difficulty with her employees because they'd come and work for her and they'd be like, God, this woman's a bit much, we go in.
Do you know the phrase they used? Oh, sorry. Do you know the phrase they used about her?
No.
They used a phrase, there's a few things that refer to her as being tartar. Have you heard of this? Not like the sauce.
Like the sauce?
Yeah. And it means that you are like disagreeable, very hard to please, and like have exacting standards, difficult to please, and not kind in communicating your wishes, basically.
Fair enough. No problems with that. She only been able to keep one maid for a long period. And on the 29th of January 1879, Julia employed Kate Webster, who was born Kate Lawler, like the Big Brother contestant and the DJ, in Killa, County Wexford in Ireland in about 1849. Mm-hmm. Now, Kate was 5'5", described as tall. Different
Imagine
times. And strongly built, with a sallow, much freckled complexion and large, prominent front teeth.
I read something that was like many large, prominent teeth, and I don't even know what kind of mouth they're describing and Freddie Mercury, that's what they're describing.
She's all teeth. That's what she is.
Did I tell you about, have I told you about going to see a Queen tribute band?
No.
I'm going to keep this vague so people can't work out which one it is, but for my friend's birthday, I went to see a Queen tribute band in like a club. And it was a right laugh. And do you know what was amazing is, and I imagine this is the same with all like Queen tribute bands, an incredible Freddie Mercury who's got one dream, and that's to be Freddie Mercury on stage, and then surrounded by some reluctant musicians, which is the situation that I saw. And like Freddie Mercury was absolutely incredible, giving it beans in like a flat-roofed pub extension. It was packed out. It was absolutely rammed, and had people up on their feet straight away. But the people around them, so the guy doing Brian May was just wearing an ill-fitting, I think, woman's members only jacket. You know, the ones with the little and a sort of a wig that comes in a bag of sort of like a brown mullet. He genuinely looked like my mother when I was in primary school.
He'd got it off, he'd Google on Amazon rockstar wigs, and it'd come up Smithy, English rockstar wig.
Yeah, it's English guitarist rockstar.
Yeah.
And so he would sort of, every now and then when it was his solo, he'd step forward and do it, but he'd never look up from the guitar and would just seem very sort of embarrassed and had his shoulders hunched over.
Great.
Then there was the other guitarist who was in white jacket, white jeans, so that's fine. Yeah, that's on point. And then I didn't really see the drummer. Now, I think it was the guitarist who was driving this, couldn't play Brian May fast enough, essentially. So two things that happened. I noticed it. Well, no, my partner's very musical, so he noticed it immediately. He's like, they're playing, everything is a bit slower. And I was like, is it? I thought it felt like it. And then he literally got out fucking app he's got on his phone that tells you the beats per minute of something.
No, thank you.
I know, though there's an ick. That's why it's cringe to have a boyfriend, because they've got a beats per minute app on their phone. And he got it out, and Don't Stop Me Now was, let's say it's like 170 beats, and it was like 130. So it was basically like a jazz standard. It was like, don't stop me now, I'm having sugar. It was so much slower. And then the bit in, they close on Bohemian Rhapsody, of course you would. So, you know the bit that goes... So there's two things that happen. So, that I'm just a poor boy, nobody loves me. And then the band saying, well, this band could not sing. So they all just left the stage and played a CD for that bit. It is absolutely mad. So they played Queen playing it. So they did the first bit of the Mama, I just killed a man. And then when that kicked in, they all left the stage. Then they sort of came back, but then they're playing it. So you think you can that bit, but it's so much slower. So they basically finished on a half-empty stage and a sort of fruity jazz cover of Bohemian Rhapsody.
Why didn't the guy just get the Freddie Mercury just get a backing track and do it that way?
Why indeed? It was really weird.
Get more money.
Yeah. But I just felt like he was very good. Freddie was very good, and I felt he was slightly let down by his the people in the band. But I'm not going to say which one.
Oh, wow. I kind of want to go and see him now.
Do you? I wondered what you felt about a tribute band.
Oh, I think they're a good laugh. I've been to see Oasis once. Yeah, I like them. I haven't got any. I think it's a weird existence, but I just think it's good fun, isn't it?
I think it's great. I think it's strange when there's a tribute band for a band that is touring.
Yes. Well, their wedding bookings must really go up. I bet the Oasis bands are smashing it now. There's one, I can't remember which one. I've seen Oasis a few times. There's one called Oasis. Oasis.
Great, that's
which
good.
just sounds like you're eating a hot
speech
pasta.
Impediment.
Yeah. I quite like them. And I don't mind a tribute band. I think they're quite good fun. So, quite like it.
Some of the Beatles ones are absolutely cracking as well.
Yeah, the bootleg Beatles, they love it, don't they?
It was my birthday the other week, and my partner got me a trip to go and stay in. We watched this documentary. Have you seen it? It's called, I can't remember what it's called, but the weirdest hotel or the funnest hotel. And it's called the Shankly in Liverpool.
Oh, yeah, I know what that is, yeah. Yeah.
And it's mad rooms with 16 double beds and 2 hot beds.
Yeah, it's for hen-dos and stuff like that, isn't it? Yeah.
We were obsessed with that series, and he thought it was very funny to get us a 2-night stay. And he was like, yeah, we're staying in a room with 2 double beds. Oh
my God.
And he was like, it's also insanely cheap. And so I think I'm going to convince him to go and see a good Beatles tribute band while we're in Liverpool. I can't wait.
Well, I'm actually staying in the Hard Day's Night Hotel soon.
Oh, really?
Yes. Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
On a Monday, it's very cheap.
Let me know what it's like.
I'll let you know. I've been in there. Me and Paul McCaffrey went in. If I was going to say Paul McCartney then, didn't you? I went in there with Paul McCartney. He loves it in there.
How are you doing?
Him and Paul McCaffrey went in. And we had a drink in the bar. That was quite nice. But that's as much as I remember, because it was a long time ago. We were quite fucking pissed. But I'll enjoy staying there. Anyway, back to Julia. Now.
And Kate Lawler, not Big Brother.
She, yes.
Well, she was bright in school, but she was a pain in the ass. She came from quite a nice family. They weren't middle class, but they didn't have a lot of money. But a lot of people in Ireland didn't have a lot of money. No. But they were good, honest people, and they were apparently really embarrassed that she almost immediately became a thief, and not a very good one, because she get caught all the time.
Well, she was a bit of a liar as well, because she claimed that her husband was a sea captain called Webster, with whom she's had 4 children. But she claimed that the husband and children all died within a short time of each other, and there's absolutely no record of any of this.
No.
So she was imprisoned for larceny in Wexford in 1864. This was when she was about 15. She came to England in 1867.
She stole the fare to go over to Liverpool to do it. So she was like, things are getting a bit difficult around here because I'm a well-known thief. She stole some money from someone and jumped on a ferry. Well,
she then she comes to England in February 1868. She was sentenced to 4 years penal servitude for larceny this time in Liverpool.
Do you know what penal servitude is?
It's where you do work as well.
Yeah.
Do washing and
pick ropes, ship's ropes. Yeah. Is it oakum? And I didn't realise that it was brought in because it was to replace sending them out to Australia, basically, to the colonies. But fuck me, I would much rather be in Australia, especially after our visit there, one of the best countries I've ever been to, than Picking ropes.
No, I'd rather pick the rope. I'd probably die on the journey. No, thank you. So she says as well that she's released in January 1873 and she moved to Hammersmith in West London in 1873. April the 18th, 1874, she had a son, John W. Webster, a very official name for a baby. Master John W. Webster, the baby. The identity of the father was unclear. She had named 3 different men at various times. One of the men was called Strong, and she committed various robberies with him. She later claimed that she was forced into these crimes to support her and her son. And she lived quite a transient life around West London and used various aliases, including Webb, Webster, Gibbs, Gibbons and Lawler, which you think sounds like a stag do.
It does.
They'll be staying at the Shankly.
No, they'll be in the Travel Lodge.
They're like one night. No questions asked. So in May 1875, she was convicted of 36 charges of larceny and served 18 months in Wandsworth Prison. Now, shortly after release, she was again sentenced to 12 months, again for larceny. Learn your fucking lesson. In February 1877. Our son was looked after by a friend called Sarah Crease, who was a charwoman in Richmond for a woman called Miss Loder. Now, in 1879, Sarah became ill and Kate stood in for her at Miss Loder's house. Now, Miss Loder knew Julia Thomas and she was like, oh, she's looking for someone to do some work for her. And she recommended Kate because she said, oh, she was very good when she worked for me. Now, Julia blindly employs her, doesn't ask no questions asked.
And she also doesn't get any references. But at the same time, I know people are critical of Julia for doing like, oh, you just employed this woman in your house, but it's like, yeah, but she would have lied anyway. Like,
well, exactly, yeah. But also there is that thing of like, she just wanted someone to work there as well to be like, oh, look at me with my staff. So I don't think she was that arsed, was she?
No.
So Julia would complain. The relationship didn't work out. They did not like each other.
It was fine for about a week, and then they just started like openly arguing, where like neighbours would see it, they'd hear it. Because also Julia was, as we know, a bit of a tartar, and she would do things like, well, there was 2 things going on. Number one, that Kate liked to drink, and then she lived next door to a pub, so she would do the cleaning pissed all the time and miss bits.
Well,
I mean, that's one way to make it go quicker, isn't it?
Well, exactly, yeah.
So she was drunk cleaning and Julia would be really annoyed that she wasn't doing it properly. And then she'd sort of like do it again. She's like, I'll have to do this again in front of her. And Kate was like, oh, she's so sort of annoying. They just started immediately clashing.
Imagine if you've got your own standards, just do it your fucking self, you lazy bastard. So she'd complain about the work. Kate later said that she thought Julia was a nice old lady at first. 54. But then she became very trying. Now, Kate said Julia would annoy her, as you say, going over the work, etc. And Kate said that she was showing of a nasty spirit towards me. Kate started to resent Julia quite a lot, to the point that Julia attempted to make her friends stay with her as she was scared to be left alone with Kate. And it was eventually decided that Kate would leave her job on the 28th of February 1879. So she'd only been there a few weeks. And Julia's last diary entry was, gave Catherine warning to leave.
But Catherine is a good talker. So she basically says, it's going to be really hard to find anywhere at this short notice. Can you give me a couple of days to find somewhere? And because Julia had friends staying with her in that period, she was like, fine, you can stay for a little bit longer before I boot you up. Because it would just turned a month, right?
Yeah.
And then all hell breaks loose.
So Sunday, 2nd of March, Kate had Sunday as a half day. And she was always needed in the afternoon to assist Julia to prepare for church. However, Kate had been to the pub and came back late, which caused a delay to Kate. Now, this of course, caused a row. Several members of the congregation, when Julia arrived at church, said that she seemed agitated. And Julia had complained that her servant hadn't returned home at the proper time and had flown into a terrible passion after being rebuked. So Julia actually comes home at 9 p.m. That's a long church, isn't it?
She came home early. She was like, I think there's going to be a fight, so I'm just going to go home and deal with it.
So she comes back 9 p.m. and this is when it kicks off. Now, the neighbours hear a single thump, a bit like a chair falling over, but they didn't think anything of it. Now, Kate and Julia had a huge row, and that row ended in Kate pushing Julia down the stairs. Kate later says, "She had a heavy fall and I became agitated at what had occurred. I lost all control of myself, and to prevent her screaming and getting me into trouble, I caught her by the throat, and in the struggle she was choked and I threw her on the floor." It's like me in the bloody Pennine Express toilet, isn't it? God, I'm getting flashbacks. Got PTSD from this pod. Oh, God.
We only have Kate's word for it.
Yes.
So the only thing we know about that death, but we can tell certain things from the body, the head. I'm going to yawn.
Oh, she's so bored of these things, aren't you? The head, so bored of the head that was removed from the body, as we will later find out.
My compulsive yawning, yesterday I had to do a thing where, with a group of strangers, where we're doing this workshop on let's say, like people who've had interaction with social services, telling their stories and how to get like positive stories from it. So you're reading like the most horrific thing about domestic violence and stuff, and I'm like, excuse me. I was like, it was then that he was arrested for like breaking my jaw, and I'm yawning all the way through it. I must have done about 7 yawns in 4 paragraphs. It looked absolutely, to the point where they were like starting to laugh at how openly I was yawning.
They're
but
like,
I can't.
"Is everything okay at home?"
It's a stress response. I'm going to yawn again because I said the word. Anyway, now we only have Kate's word for what happened, because there is a bit of some stuff I've read as like when they found the head, spoiler alert, there was like a wound, like an axe, like she'd been hit in the head with an axe.
Yes. And well, we should say that she did, this is what happened, she does dispose of Julia's body because she's dead. She kills her. She falls down the stairs and she strangles her. Now, she dismembered it and boiled it, put it in the laundry copper. She burned the bones in the hearth. Kate said she used a razor to chop the head from the body, which she also used to cut through the flesh. And she used a meat saw and a carving knife to cut the body up. And Webster said she was greatly overcome, both by the horrible sight before me and the smell.
But you know what she did? This is why I can believe that you can like be drunk, get in a fight with someone at the top of the stairs, and you push them or whatever, or they fall down, and you're like, I can even believe that you would strangle them because they're screaming, like, shut up. But I'm not sure how the wound that looked like an axe wound got in her head, if that is the case. And also to be like, well, I've boiled the copper pot for the laundry now, and then to cut her up. And then do you know what she does? Is she puts big parts of the body in the copper pot to get rid of them, to boil it down. The smell's so bad, she's like, I'll just go to the pub because I don't like the smell. But also the whole street stunk, apparently, because it was quite a nice area that wasn't, plagued by a poor sanitation anyway. So everyone was like, what is that smell? While she's getting hammered in the pub next door. And she boils it down and there's a big layer of fat on it. This will come back again because it kind of coats everything in the pot in this fat.
Ugh, that's making me feel a bit ill. It's making me feel ill, but also hungry at the same time. I don't like this. This is a new sensation that I'm experiencing. So she continues. Now, neighbours noticed the smell, as you say, but the activity at the house wasn't sort of deemed unusual because Monday was the day that all the cleaning was done, and often starting very early. So Kate continues to clean the house over the next few days. She washed Julia's clothes, acted completely normally. However, she was packing Julia's dismembered body parts into a black Gladstone bag and a bonnet box. Now, one problem that she had, we'll come to this, was the head. And
a foot. A foot wouldn't fit either.
And a foot. So, this is gross. They wouldn't fit. She disposes of the foot on a rubbish heap in Twickenham.
Yeah, it's like a muck heap. So someone's, like a horse shit, and then but it gets found.
Oh, it's disgusting. The head. Now this takes a turn. The head was buried under the hole in the wall stables. It was found 113 years later, though, when work was being done on the home of Sir David Attenborough.
So this is 2010, right?
I think so, but we'll come to it. We'll come to it later on.
Yeah.
So 2 days after the murder, Kate decides to go and visit her old friends, the Porters in Hammersmith, who she's not seen in 6 years. Please don't just turn up. I can't be doing with it. She shows up wearing Julia's silk dress and carrying the Gladstone bag that had bits of her remains in it. Kate called herself Mrs. Thomas, said she'd married, had a child, been widowed and been left a house in Richmond by an aunt of hers. All, of course, lies. And she invited Robert Porter and his son to the pub. And while the men were in the pub, Kate disposed of the bag, probably by dropping it in the Thames, and the bag was never found. Later on, she asked the younger porter to help her carry... I mean, Porter's my name. Why am I doing all the fucking heavy lifting here, love? To help her carry a heavy box from Mayfield Cottages to the station. But as they cross Richmond Bridge, she throws it in the river.
Well, this is the bonnet box, right? So it's like, it's fairly distinct. So she was like, oh, help me carry this. And she was like, they get onto the bridge and she goes, do you know what? Go ahead, because my friend's going to meet me here and take the box from me. And he's like, oh, okay.
Go ahead.
Very good work. Very good work. So he heads on the bridge, hears an enormous splash, and then is like, what was that? And then Kate comes walking up and she went, oh yeah, don't worry, he's collected it. Keep moving, keep moving. Until she just
so weird.
Hurled it in. Now this box, again, will become important later on in the case.
Well, the box that she threw in the Thames was found the next day. Mm-hmm. In shallow water 5 miles downstream. A man called Henry Wheatley, a coal porter, was driving his... coal porter? Isn't he a...
Yeah, he's like a jazz singer, right?
Like a
crooner.
Musician. Yeah, coal porter. Driving his cart past Barnes Railway Bridge just before 7 a.m. And he saw the box. He thought, oh, he might have some items in from a burglary, that. But when he opened it, he just found body parts wrapped in brown paper.
Also, the body parts are the ones that she'd boiled, so they're incredibly well preserved because the fat had sort of sealed them.
No, thank you.
Sorry. Well, here's another thing. There's a facet in the story. Apparently, the day after that Julia had been murdered, Kate went up to some lads who were like playing in the area and was like, I've got some leftover pig's lard if you want to drink some as like a soup. And they were like, really? And she's like, do you know what, I'll give you it for free. And they were like, oh great. And they had 2 bowls of it. It was so delicious. And they
First of all, like, I understand it's a different time, but even the idea of eating pig's lard out of a fucking bowl is disgusting.
Is it the bowl that's upset you?
I just think, the whole thing's just fucking disgusting. But then the fact that it might have been human is just...
Well, I just don't think that she is generous enough to have been knocking up pork and then giving it out. So I think it is almost definitely, if this is a true story, those boys had human remains.
Also,
so what, isn't it?
It might have been one of those stories that boys went, yeah, and she came up to us and she said, oh, do you want to eat this pig's lard? I mean, there's all kinds of... I mean, would she have done that? I don't know. It's just a bit grim. So, during this time, it's found. He reports the Henry reports the box to the police, and a doctor confirmed the box contained a trunk minus entrails and legs minus 1 foot of a woman. The head was obviously missing. Now, during this time, a foot and ankle were found in Twickenham, and it was evident that this was part of the corpse from the box. And the doctor who examined them said they belonged to a young person. There you go, she's young now, she's dead, with very dark hair. And an inquest on the 10th of March recorded an open verdict, and the remains were buried in Barnes Cemetery on the 19th of March.
He said that she was, this woman's between 18 and 34, and she's probably had children. None of that is accurate.
But I can tell you now, she's definitely dead. The papers loved this. They called it the Barnes mystery. And there was speculation that the body had been used for anatomical study, because obviously in those days they were keen to progress with their anatomical studies and bodies were in high demand.
But they were like, whoever chopped this body up has no medical expertise whatsoever and is not... Because Kate is so kind of badly behaved, you think, is this her first murder? But apparently they were like, there's no signs of experience here at any point.
So... Kate carries on living in Julia's house, wearing her clothes, dealing with tradesmen as Julia. She'd actually made a deal to sell the furniture and goods from the house to a man called John Church to furnish his pub. Now, this pub was called the Rising Sun, classic name. He agreed £68 with £18 in advance. That is around £8,000 today. Not bad.
No.
But by the time John Church's removal cart arrives on 18th March, Julia's neighbours are like, something's going on here. So they'd not seen Julia for 2 weeks. And Miss Ives, who was the next door neighbour, she asked the removal man, she's like, who's ordered these goods to be removed? And they said, well, it's Julia, Thomas, but they pointed at Kate. She realises, oh shit, I've been found out. Immediately catches a train to Liverpool and then makes her way back to a family home in Enniscorthy in Ireland. Now, John Church realises he's been conned. He finds a letter in the house addressed to Julia in the clothes in the van. He's even bought the clothes. The police are called and they search the house and they find bloodstains, burned finger bones in the hearth and fatty deposits behind the copper. She was a shit cleaner. There was also a letter left by Kate giving the address in Ireland that she was going to. Now, a wanted notice was issued with a description of Kate and her son, because she goes to get a son as well. It's like, don't drag him into it, leave him where he is. And the detectives soon learned that they fled to Ireland on a coal steamer.
Now, I don't think you can flee on a steamer. I've said this before.
They set off. So when Kate's... she's recognised by the head constable of the Royal Irish Constabulary as the woman he'd arrested 14 years earlier. I imagine he recognised her teeth. Now, Kate was then found at her uncle's farm and arrested, and she's taken back to London and held in custody. She goes via your gaff, doesn't she?
She does. She goes via Holyhead. Little mention for my place there. I feel very, very sorry for her son. So the son gets left behind and the family go, we don't want anything to do with you. You're from a family of thieves. So he gets put into the system and he's basically in foster care. Well, yeah, he's in the care system, which I imagine was not great back then.
Do you know my family name, Foley, which is one of my surnames, and my mum's family's called Foley. That's Irish for plunderer, thief. Did you know that?
No, really?
There you go. There you go. So I wonder what my ancestors got up to. Interesting to think. So she's brought back. And obviously, Kate's uncle as well, he's like, what's happened? Oh, this is disgusting. And as you say, he doesn't take the kid in. And the murder is causing a great sensation in England and Ireland, because that's where she's fled to. When Kate's brought back to England, the crowds gather to jeer her. People travel to Julia's house to have a look, absolute ghouls. And the pre-trial hearing was attended by many privileged and curious persons, including not a few ladies. Now, crowds gathered outside Richmond Crown Court and great excitement prevailed by all accounts. And the trial was at the Old Bailey. On the 2nd of July 1879, Kate was defended by a prominent London barrister called Warner Slay. It's a good name, isn't it?
Yeah, I think he went on to be a Conservative MP or was from a family of Conservative MPs. So he was the guy to hire at the time.
He was the guy. And the trial was well attended and sparked interest from all manner of people, including the future King of Sweden.
Oh my God, is that the future King of Sweden over there?
It's so funny because, you know, other countries have royal families.
I always find it so weird. I know that's really colonial of me, but I'm like, oh yeah, there's a royal family in other places.
But one thing I will say is we've got the best one. We've got the proper one. We've got the famous one, haven't we?
Yeah, we've got the OG, right?
We've just got the, I don't know what's the word. We've got the one that people are interested in.
Well, yeah, again, because colonialism, but if anywhere says the royals, or even if someone said the Queen, most people would think of Elizabeth II.
Exactly.
Even if they've got their own Queen. Sorry, guys.
So, yeah, King of Sweden, who gives a fuck, wouldn't know me if I fell over him, mate. So the trial lasted 6 days, and before the trial, Kate tried to implicate John Church, obviously the guy who bought the furniture, and her former neighbours, the Porters.
And then
but they all had alibis, so they were like, well,
John Church was like, I was literally in the pub. There's about 60 people who can vouch for the fact that I was there. And the Porters as well were absolutely stitched up by that, but they thankfully had alibis. Her plan, what she said was, this is poor old John Church. She was like, he became sexually obsessed with me, and he bullied me into selling all the furniture. So then they'd get loads of money, and then we could run away to America together. That was his plan. He's like, how would I get loads of money if I'm selling it to myself? And she was like, I haven't thought this one through.
Oh my God. Also, get over yourself, love.
And he was like, I have known her for 8 days. He was like, I don't know this woman and I'm not trying to take her to America. It's bullshit. And you know what? She really caught herself out there because at the time they couldn't link the bonnet box. They couldn't say that was Julia. They didn't have a head. They couldn't identify. But they did know that Julia had gone missing. They did know there was blood in the house. They did know that Kate was wearing her clothes and pretending she was her. So there's loads of circumstantial evidence. And then with the Porters, they were like, you've been accused of murdering Julia. And then they were like, no, we went to the pub with her. She had this bag that then disappeared. Oh, she helped me carry a box. And they were like, what did the box look like? They then described the box the body parts are in. So that is what links her directly to Julia's body parts. She's fucking, if she hadn't have thrown them under the bus, she might have got away with it. Yeah.
And also hadn't been tried to be greedy.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
She might have got away with it. So the jury, as we've said, there's a whole load of things happening. And she said that Kate, a neighbour, a bonnet maker, called Maria Durden, she says that Kate had visited her a week before the murder and said she was off to Birmingham to sell some jewellery and a house that her aunt had left her. So the jury took this as a sign the murder was premeditated.
Although in Kate's defence, one of her favourite things to do was when she was sort of like, when she first moved to London and she was kind of gadding about the place and like sofa surfing and in lodging houses, she'd get them to give her a tour of lodging houses and she'd be like, what, can you explain to me about that painting over there? It's, it's very captivating. And as they were doing that, she would just be filling her bag with stuff and she would rob the lodging houses as they went round. And if they were too keen and kept an eye on her, she'd be like, great, I'll take it. Let me put a deposit on and then I'm just going to nip out and get some stuff and come back and I'll pay the rest. And what she would do is she'd give them a small amount of money. She would take everything that she could carry, go and sell that. And that's how she would, but yeah, that was basically her MO. So it could be that it wasn't Julia's jewellery that was being sold and just stuff she's stolen from elsewhere, but...
Well, the jury took this as a sign that the murder was premeditated and they deliberated for an hour and a quarter and they obviously found her guilty. And the judge said...
What? Sorry, because she also tried to blame that Mr. Strong guy, right? And
we'll get to that in a bit. Fine. Yeah, she tried to blame him. She basically tried to blame anybody, I think, that she'd come into contact with. So she was asked if there's any reason that she shouldn't be given the death penalty, which I think anyone would say, well, yeah, actually. There's a lot of reasons. She claimed that she was pregnant. So then it was decided that an archaic mechanism of the jury of matrons was employed. This was a selection of women who'd attended the court. They were, it was 12 women. They were taken and they were to rule if Kate was pregnant. So a surgeon named Bond went into a private room and they examined her for a couple of minutes. It was decided that she wasn't with quick child. That's the quickening when the child in the old days started to move. And that was when it was like, right, there we go. That's definitely a baby. So she was sentenced to death. They were like, she's not pregnant. There's no quickening. Do with her what you will. She had an appeal a few days before the execution. That was turned down. Now, she made 2 statements confessing to the crime. In the first, she implicated the alleged father of her child, Strong, who she blamed for leading her into a life of crime. She recanted this on the 28th of July, the night before her execution, and she made a statement where she took full responsibility and exonerated Church, Porter and Strong. So 29th of July, my mum's birthday, 9 a.m, she was hanged at Wandsworth Prison. William Marwood was the hangman, and he used a new technique called the long drop. That's nice. This caused instantaneous death. There was a huge crowd outside who cheered when the black flag was raised to signify the death sentence had been carried out.
Oh my God, absolute ghouls.
I know, those were the days. Now what else to do?
Wandsworth Prison didn't have many executions. I think it was about 136, something like that. And she was the only woman to be executed there. And she's buried in an unmarked grave on the grounds. And then they were executing so few people there. They were like, this isn't a good use of space to have a graveyard. So they exhumed all of the bodies and moved them except for hers, and it was their way of honouring the fact that she was a woman. So, like, we don't want to disturb a lady.
Oh, that's a lovely touch. It's like when they put tampons in the toilets for us, isn't it? That's really kind.
But do you know what I was thinking? You know, when she was like, she's obviously just a blagger, so she's like, it's John Church's fault, and they're like, no, it's not. And she's like, okay, it's the porter's fault. No, it's not. Okay, it's my ex, and they're like, no, it's not. It's like, okay, well, I'm pregnant by my ex actually, and they're like, okay, fine, we're gonna have to get this group of 12 women and this surgeon to have a look at you. And she must have been lying there as 12 women stared down the barrel of her fanny, being like, I know, this is a lie too far. I don't know why I did this one.
do you know what? Just hang me now. I'm done.
Well, she kind of made peace. She said, just before she was executed, she said, you know what? I will be very glad to stop this life of deceit and suffering and poverty. And I've made peace and I'm looking forward to a very happy eternity, is what she said.
Well, good luck with that. So Julia's property was auctioned at the house the day after Kate's execution. John Church manages to get his furniture, bless him.
What a feel-good story.
Not only does he get the furniture, he gets the knife which Julia had been dismembered with.
Oh, my God.
Good. Someone got the copper in which the body was boiled in for 5 shillings. Other ghouls took pebbles and twigs from the garden as souvenirs. Now, the house lay unoccupied until 1897, and their eventual occupants said servants were reluctant to work there. And there was also rumours of a ghostly nun hovering over the place where Julia had been buried. Madame Two Swords made a waxwork of Kate, and that was displayed before her death and was on display well into the 20th century with Dr. Crippen and Burke and Hare. There was also a special edition of a booklet of Kate's life published for a penny, and also street ballads.
Well, when you look at pictures of Kate Lawler, the murderer, online, I was like, oh, she's quite an intense-looking woman. And you were like, that's the waxwork. I was like, okay.
That's the waxwork. Now, bit of fun to end. In 1952, Sir David Attenborough and his wife, Jane, bought a house next to the former cottage, which was still standing, and the hole-in-the-wall pub. Now, the pub closed in 2007, and David Attenborough bought it to be redeveloped. And the 22nd of October 2010, it was my sister's birthday, workmen were excavating the rear of the old pub and found a dark circular object which was a woman's skull. Carbon dating dated it between 1650 and 1880. It's not that good, is it? But the fact it was on Victorian tiles suggested it was from that area. It had fracture marks and low collagen levels, suggesting it had been boiled. They couldn't do DNA because Julia didn't have any kids or relatives, did she? And there was no record of where she was buried in Barnes Cemetery. So the coroner gave a verdict of unlawful killing, superseding the open verdict of 1879. The cause of death was asphyxiation and a head injury.
Yeah.
That would have been me in the TransPennine Express. It would.
Bonking your head on the sink as you go down. Pants down, bag round the neck. God.
And no dignity whatsoever.
It's a wild end to the story, because to be fair to Kate, she did say, this is where I hid the head, and they just could never find it. And that's why it was another bit of evidence that said, well, this is almost definitely Julia's head. It's mad that was just in David Attenborough's garden.
Also, with Sir David Attenborough, do you know what I would say if I was him? I'd put a public announcement out saying, can you all stop fucking going on about when I die?
Oh, yeah, we're talking about
do you know
this
what
at
I mean?
the live
it's
show.
It's so obnoxious. I think it's so rude. Like, you should be celebrating this intelligent, active older man is still working and interested in the world around him. Not, oh my God, when Sir David Attenborough dies, I'll be so sad.
Or going, protect David Attenborough at all costs. And it's like, have you seen this stuff he's done with his life? He doesn't need protecting. He's just old. Like, that's the...
Leave him alone and stop going on about when he dies. Anyway, that's the Barnes mystery.
Thanks so much for listening to that. Oh God, it's made me feel like I've got to do loads of cooking today, and I've got to boil stuff in big pans, and it's a terrible day to do. Do you know what it is? I've got pumpkins from the live show that I've been keeping cool, and my chickens are like, we're sick of pumpkins, get them away. So I'm just going to do I'm going to do a pumpkin pie, I'm going to do a pumpkin soup, going to do loads of stuff. But I just can't think of anything worse than hovering over a large pot today.
No. You'll never find me hovering. I don't cook anything, me. Can you reheat it? Fucking bring it on.
Well, yeah, it's soup. You can reheat it.
No, anything. I mean, I'm not even making a soup. I'm not sitting there making
you
food.
Don't sit. You chop it, you leave it, and then you come.
No interest in it whatsoever.
Really? You don't cook anything?
No. Well, I might make an omelette.
Lovely. An absolute classic.
I just have no interest in cooking. Tim does the cooking. I do the cleaning. He can do the cooking. He's very good, actually, to be fair.
I'm very excited to your answer for this next question.
Go ahead.
Rachel, what would you cook if you're having a dinner party?
Do you think I'm having people in my house? Seriously. Seriously, no fucking thank you. Listen, if you want to come round, have your tea before you get here. I'm not. You can have some Pringles, but I ain't cooking. I might do some microchip. There you go. Me and my friend Brill Phil, when Brill Phil used to be at my house, I'd make him a microchip butter.
Very nice. Classic of the
quick
form.
chips, as they're now called.
Are they called? Why have they changed?
Because I don't know.
Because they're trying to be
don't
like
say microchips anymore.
Getting into the it's a pun, isn't it? I wonder if they're getting into the air fryer market.
Oh well, there you go.
So that was horrible. It was absolutely horrible. That was the Richmond murder. Yes, we'll see you at the Christmas show, or we'll see you at the Valentine's show in Leeds. Quite a lot of northern things. We are cooking up something very exciting for next year that will be travelling.
And it's not pig fat.
It's not pig lard, no. So hopefully we'll have an announcement about that soon. If you want to know about any of that stuff, or you'll get stuff goes on pre-sale to our mailing list first, so you can sign up to our mailing list on our website.
Or killanofilla.com.
Oh, and if you want some incredible Mary Lloyd earrings, Fizz Goes Pop, who makes the most amazing stuff, has made me some of those.
Candles.
Yeah, they were from her, she did like an autumn box.
Nice, yeah, lovely.
Yes, so for the people who can't see, I'm wearing big candlestick earrings. But she's made me some Mary Lloyds that are absolutely incredible, and I've got them on pre-order. So they'll be sending them out. In fact, when this goes out, they'll be going out next week.
From your website?
From my website, yes. And I'm doing a fundraiser for Get Off Live Comedy in January at the Comedy Store. Nish Kumar, Sarah Pascoe, Sakisa, Nina Gilligan, and listen, they're actually quite flaky, but an absolutely huge act if they definitely do it. But I can't announce them. So
because they're flaky.
No, it's not they're flaky. They're disorganised. They're disorganised. So I don't want. They're like yeah, but also like you know what I'm like, and I was like I do know what you're like. So there we go.
That's fair. So yeah, I'm on tour next year, 2026, or rachelfairburn.com. That's where you can get your tickets. And that's it really. Thanks for listening.
Bye.